This is a tale of mummification. Have you ever wondered how someone could become accidentally mummified? Not by ancient priests or in a lab, but by Mother Nature herself? Well, in 2021, police walked into a cabin in rural Colorado and found a woman wrapped in a sleeping bag, covered in glitter, and strung up with Christmas lights. Her followers called her divine. The coroner called her deceased. Her name was Amy Carlson, or as her followers knew her, Mother God. They believed she'd ascended to the fifth dimension. In reality, she just dried out in the desert air. Welcome back, Coffin Crew! I'm Lauren the Mortician, and today we're unpacking the bizarre, heartbreaking, and yes, scientifically fascinating story of how devotion, denial, and dry mountain air turned one woman into a modern-day mummy. This is like right up my alley. So happy Morbid Monday! Woo woo! Morbid Monday. Talking mummification. Anyways, cue the intro. Amy Carlson started out as your average suburban mom from the Midwest. Don't you know? Worked at McDonald's, raised kids, probably owned a couple inspirational throw pillows. But somewhere along the way, she fell face first into the internet's spiritual rabbit hole. Crystals, numerology, vibrations, galactical beings. If it sparkled or hummed, she was in. And then she leveled up, apparently, and decided she wasn't of God. She was God. She called herself Mother God and claimed she'd been reincarnated over 500 times as Jesus, Joan of Arc, and even Marilyn Monroe. That's an impressive resume. I can barely keep up with my content calendar, but you do you. By the late 2000s, she had gathered a small group of followers under the name Love Has Won. But what started as peace and light quickly turned into no sleep, no food, and a 20-hour live stream where everyone's ego had to die. They bounced between mountain towns, got run out of a few, and lived communally under her divine guidance. Amy was reportedly drinking heavily, dosing herself with colloidal silver, you know, that stuff that turns your skin blue. The FDA says you shouldn't do it, but I don't always listen to them either, but this sounds kind of serious. And she was ranting about energy portals and Trump being a part of her cosmic team. To her followers, she was the voice of the universe. To everyone else, she was kind of just buffering. Her health tanked. She became gaunt, gray, barely able to move. But admitting their goddess was mortal would have broken the illusion. So they just said that she was transforming. By early 2021, she disappeared from their live streams. When fans asked where she was, members just said she was in stasis, which, spoiler, is cult language for we're not ready to admit she's dead yet. April 28th, 2021, deputies in I'm so sorry about this county name. Deputies in Saguache County, Colorado, got a call from a man saying, "There's a dead body in my house, and they won't let me leave. Not your average Tuesday, that's for sure." When police arrive, they find a shrine, candles, crystals, twinkly lights, and in the center, a sleeping bag holding a gray-blue glitter-covered body. It's Amy Carlson. Her face is coated in makeup and shimmer. Her eyes are gone, her body stiff and shrunken. A faint, sweet smell lingers in the room, not the gut punch odor of decay. 7 followers are living there, and a 13-year-old child. They'd been eating, sleeping, and praying beside her body for weeks. The sheriff later called it one of the most bizarre scenes he'd ever encountered. And I don't know about you, but when law enforcement uses the word bizarre, it's really bad. Always. 7 members were arrested for abuse of corpse and child abuse. But as disturbing as it was, it also sparked a question that makes every mortician's ears just perk up. How the hell did she not rot? Like blank blank. All right, class, let's hop on the morbid school bus for a minute. Normally, after death, beep beep. Normally after death, Normally, after death, the human body goes through a predictable process. Blood settles to the lowest point, bacteria clock in for their shift, and the body slowly inflates like a tragic balloon animal. That's decomposition 101. But Amy's body didn't follow that script. The San Luis Valley, where this all went down, sits high in the Colorado Rockies. Cold nights, blazing hot days, zero humidity. It's like a giant food dehydrator for humans. When a body loses moisture faster than bacteria can work, decay basically stops. The tissues dry, the skin tightens, and instead of liquefying, you get what's called natural mummification. She was wrapped in a sleeping bag, insulated from bugs, and surrounded by dry air. Basically, a DIY sarcophagus. She didn't ascend, she desiccated. And yes, she probably still smelled, but more like a dusty attic than CSI episode, if you get what I'm laying down. Even the colloidal silver she'd been chugging might have slowed bacteria a little bit. Silver is mildly antibacterial, not enough to make her the next King Tut, but enough to make her preservation extra weird. So when followers said her body hasn't decayed because she's divine, science said, nope, it's just Colorado. It's like my whip, like as if we're in Montana, but we're actually in Colorado. I don't know if they do horseback riding in Colorado, but we're gonna pretend like the headless horseman on the. That was me trying to do a horse impression. Okay, anyways, the joke's over. What do you do in Colorado? You don't just get high all the time, right? Anyways, all right, coffin crew, it's time for a mini science detour now, because if you're anything like me, you're probably wondering, how does a human body actually become mummified without any help? Let's call this Death Science 101. How to accidentally turn yourself into a time capsule. There are 3 main ingredients for natural mummification, and no, glitter isn't one of them. That's optional. Number 1, environment. If the air is dry enough, it acts like nature's hairdryer. Moisture evaporates faster than bacteria can break down tissue. Without moisture, decay basically flatlines. Number 2, temperature swings. In the mountains, it can be freezing at night and hot during the day. So bacteria get hit with this constant cycle of wake up and die again, and wake up and die again. I'm alive, I'm dead, I'm alive, I'm dead. Imagine trying to throw a party when the power keeps going out. That's what the microbes are dealing with. Number 3, airflow and containment. Amy's body was wrapped up in a sleeping bag, which sounds harmless until you realize that trapped air can slow gas buildup but speed dehydration. It's basically the human version of food vacuum sealing. If this sounds grimly efficient, it is. The same thing happens to animals that die in deserts or on mountaintops, or even in attics, where heat and dryness do all of the work. The result, skin that tightens like parchment, organs that collapse inward, and a faint, oddly sweet smell, the calling card of desiccation. Story time, I did pick up a guy one time. It was really sad. He died in this house. Hot, dry summer. He was up almost in the attic of the home. There was a big peak, and it was really weird to walk in and he was completely mummified, just like how I'm sure Amy was. So when I heard about this story, I knew we had to talk about it because I've seen this with my own eyeballs. And it was actually really sad. Like his mail was piled up and nobody had checked on him. No smell. It was so bizarre. Anyways, the Egyptians used natron in prayer. Amy had altitude, Colorado air, and some very committed followers with a flair for holiday decor. So yes, in a weird, unholy way, the same physics that preserved pharaohs preserved Mother God. Only without the linen wrappings and gold tomb. They just used a sleeping bag. Science doesn't care if you're divine. It just runs its course. And in this case, it was coarse dry. When the coroner examined her body, the official cause of death was undetermined. The body was too dry for solid toxicology, but signs pointed to malnutrition, alcohol, and silver poisoning. Eventually, her remains were cremated and released to her family, though her followers tried to claim the ashes for a shrine, and they were mad that they didn't get her, because apparently even gods need merch. And that's the heartbreaking part. They couldn't let her go. Not emotionally, and definitely not physically. From a mortician's perspective, I've seen the same impulse in smaller, gentler ways. Families whispering, "Can you keep her here a little longer?" Grief makes people reach for anything that feels like control. But this was control turned delusion. They thought they were honoring her spirit. Really, they were just watching science prove she was gone and wrong. Amy Carlson didn't beat death. She just dried up faster than the rest of us. And that's what's so haunting about this case. Her followers thought they'd preserved holiness, but what they really preserved was denial. Love has won, not exactly, because in this story, death and biology still win every time. You'd think the story would end once police removed the body, right? Nope. Even after Amy Carlson was cremated, her followers didn't disband. They just rebranded. Today, the group calls itself 5D Full Disclosure. They still post videos, still talk about Mother guiding them from another realm, and still believe she's coming back in her new light body. One follower claimed to see her face in the clouds. Another said that she controls weather patterns. And as of now, they're still online waiting for Mother's return. And listen, I deal with a lot of strange beliefs. I don't want to say strange, unique. I'm going to say unique beliefs in my line of work. But this is one of those cases that proves you can bury a body, but not a delusion. Even now, 4 years later, 4 years after Mother died, they're still spreading her message. But here's the truth, straight from a mortician. She's definitely not checking her DMs, like ever again. So what did we learn from the accidental mummification of Mother God? That death doesn't care about your job title, even if it's deity, 5D division, that dry climates are nature's embalming machine, and that you can wrap a corpse in Christmas lights, but you can't stop it from, well, being a corpse. If you like this morbid little mix of cults, death science, and dark humor, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, would you rather be preserved by nature or by a mortician? And until next time, I'm Lauren the Mortician, reminding you that even gods decompose. Peace out. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, don't go anywhere. I don't have a mango kiss for you, but I have a Lola kiss for you. You can't leave until you have a puppy kiss. Oh. Do you give kisses or you give me kisses? What about them? They're just gonna have to stay with me forever then if you don't give them a kiss. I love you. You smell like a puppy. Here. There. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. And we'll see you next week or maybe Thursday. Let me know what other questions you're dying to know below too. Me and Lola will go through them. Maybe we'll do a morbid question Q&A. We'll see what I get to. Okay. Love you. Bye.